Hi, my name is Rob Khoury, and I'm the CEO of Agile Rainmakers, a high-impact business development consulting and advisory firm. Previously, I worked for 21 years in the financial industry. I've been an equity derivatives trader, portfolio manager, a corporate strategist, a recruiter, a hedge fund chief executive officer, and a private equity investor. And like you, I'm still not sure what I want to do when I grow up. In any case, I love sharing my experiences with future extraordinary, hungry business leaders like yourselves. Coming out of Princeton in 1990, I was perhaps the worst interviewee in the world. I remember one interview that was scheduled to be 30 minutes and it was over in 10. I had no idea why, to this day, why the interview ended in 10, but that was it. It was over, done. Thank you very much. But that's okay, because it was a company I'd never heard of, and I'm sure they never ended up to much. Anyone ever hear of Goldman Sachs? It took me 25 interviews to get one job offer. And you better believe I took it out of relief. Interviewing was just not my thing. The job wasn't exactly what I wanted, but pre-internet, pre-LinkedIn, pre-Google, pre-cell phone, job searching was easy, except your computer didn't talk to other computers. Companies had no websites. Professional profiles weren't posted, and your phone generally had a string attached to your home, and usually that was the kitchen. Other than that, no problem. So, in 2 words, not very enjoyable. So I hated, well, you guys, not very enjoyable in 2 words. I need you guys to wake up a little here. I know it's tense when we talk interviews and careers, but lighten up, huh? Well, anyway, I hated interviewing. At worst, I had 2 limiting thoughts. Okay, my first limiting thought was that I felt I had not accomplished what I could. So I thought I should be ahead of wherever I am. So I was nervous and afraid of being discovered. I had something to hide. I couldn't let anyone find out that I, for myself, hadn't achieved my potential. So who here has something like that? Like, for yourself, you feel like you haven't achieved your potential, or sometimes you feel like in an interview you have something to hide. Raise your hand, be proud. It's fine, we're all good. Yep, thank you. Second, I thought interviewing was not fair. It is a one-sided informational exchange where you bear all to the interviewer, and meanwhile, they don't share anything about themselves. And worse, they get to evaluate you afterwards, and you have no idea why you didn't get the job. So there I am interviewing, and feel like I have something to hide, and I feel like it's not a fair process. So it took me years to learn to give up my limiting thoughts, open up, embrace the process, and lighten up. I learned to be generous with knowledge sharing in an interview and talk as if addressing an advocate. Doing so is how I ended up at First Chicago Capital Markets. So let go of your limiting thoughts and make sure you view interviewing from an empowering perspective. That's what works. I've learned the most important aspect of interviewing happens long before the interview itself. So who has a guess? What's a guess? Anyone? Good guess, that's it. Thank you. But what does that mean? Know yourself. What's your favorite class? And why is it your favorite? Who do you admire? What do you aspire to become in life? What are 5 accomplishments you're particularly proud of? What are the areas you're working on improving? What are some unique skills that you possess? Independent of school, what books have you read over the last 3 months? How do you spend your free time? When you go home, think about each question and think of some more, and write out your answers until you're clear. And that'll be the beginning of getting to know yourself and being prepared for an interview. And now I'll walk you through a couple of interview questions I've used in the past. What are your top 3 strengths in 3 words? What's an example of each strength? Include a situation you were in, tools or techniques that you used, actions you took, and specific quantifiable results that came from your actions. To prepare for these questions at home, write out a 30-second example of each strength and a longer 2-minute version describing each strength. Go through them until you are confident sharing your top 3 strengths in an interview if asked. For me, they are communication strategy and empowerment. An example of communication is when I started my recruiting company in 2007. Recruiting is the most complex and complicated bidirectional sales process that there is. It is the only sales process where your product, a candidate, can say no. Think about that for a minute. So, I took seminars at Landmark Worldwide, and I read and studied recruiting sales books. I used tie-downs, alternate advances, and closing questions. I used concepts like enrollment, coming from nothing, recreation, and uncollapsing. Mainly using the phone, email, and consulting closely with a partner, I brought in over $200,000 in placement fees in a 6-month period. And 5 years on, I sold the business. So, situation, techniques, or tools used, actions taken, and results produced. So that's my version of what's often called the STAR method, S-T-A-R. Now, when researching a firm, think creatively and go beyond the obvious. Find people on LinkedIn who used to work at the firm. Why not ask them kindly to speak with you? Maybe they know someone there. Who are some of the suppliers to the company? Reach out to them, connect with them. Service providers. After you meet these people, follow up with a handwritten thank you note, because I have never met anyone who said they want another email, and a text is a little too informal. Let them know you want to stay in touch, and do so every couple of months. And that way you can build your network through your interviews. So another idea for interviewing is getting outside validation. So outside validation is what the ACT and the SAT are. Find opportunities to demonstrate your skills to the outside world. For example, you could enter contests outside of school that show you are strong at trading, research, or sales. Quick story, in 2004, the CME held a foreign exchange trading contest. Hundreds of entrants. A 16-year-old student at the Illinois Math and Science Academy won the trading contest. The CME then introduced him to Getco, the top-tier trading firm I was at. This kid was soon interning at Getco. Winning the FX trading contest, outside validation, directly led to him working at Getco, a firm that didn't have a down day in 7 years. So find a challenge, find challenges outside of school that validate your skills and abilities to the outside world, and don't forget to take on ambitious new challenges at school that can help you learn and grow and validate your interest. Last little tip on interviewing is make sure you provide facts and data to what you say. Make sure you can back it up with numbers. Okay, so now I want to switch gears and give you some career advice that has served me well. So number 1, start doing the job you want to do. Traders trade, researchers research, coders code, and leaders lead. If you want to be one of those, start doing that now. Maybe work with a professor on a research project. Do it for free if you must. Find opportunities, volunteer, just start. The sooner you start, the better off you'll be. So, for example, if you want to be a trader, save up and open up a trading account with $250 and start trading. Number 2, read books and think about how what you're reading can make a difference for others. Read and reread. Learn it. Practice it. Live it. And ask yourself, how can I use this information to contribute to others? That is the most important question. I have thought about making a difference for others so many times, it's now a habit. So today, I put together a list of books for you that I recommend reading to help you along in your career, and you can see me afterwards for that. Number 3, along the lines of number 2, your education never ends. I am still learning. Currently, I am in an outstanding entrepreneurship course in Phoenix, Arizona, led by a gentleman named Jeff Wilmore, one of the best coaches in the world. I fly there 3 times a year for a couple of days. I'm on a coaching call once a month. There's homework. It is tough, and it's worth it. Make your education a habit, not an obligation you hope to be done with someday. You will never be done with your education, and that is very good news, I promise you. Number 4, create advocates in the industry. I was the head of recruiting at the highly selective Getco, where 95% of those interviewed we didn't hire. Those same people we did not hire ended up at competitors, clearing firms, exchanges, service providers, banks, regulators. I was kind to each and every interviewee because I knew chances were they would end up somewhere else. And guess what? People talk. Now, how do you want people talking about you and your firm? You may end up interacting with them in the future. You just don't know how and in what way. So, create advocates. Number 5, integrity. Do what you say. Train other people to be able to count on you and your word. And that starts with training yourself to count on your own word. Integrity is powerful. Do what you say. Number 6, use the small bits of time. You will accomplish what you think is impossible by putting in 5 minutes here, 20 minutes there for months. If you do that, your mind will work in the background throughout the day. This is perhaps the best advice I ever got at Princeton. I've learned really challenging concepts like pricing exotic derivatives this way. Use the small bits of time. Number 7, stay current. I read John Lothian's newsletter. I read The Economist. I read Crane's. Stay informed about people, companies, risks, and opportunities. Stay current. And number 8, have fun. Enjoy your work. If you can't find a way to do that, no matter how much money you are paid, find a way to move on and do so responsibly. If you don't do that later in life, you might look back and think to yourself, why did I waste those 2 years at a job I didn't like? The answer will be for some amount of money, and you might not be happy about that answer. I know many of you are thinking you will live forever and that a pile of money sure sounds good, right? At least that's what I thought when I was 20. The truth is, your work life is limited in time, and you can't get time back. So do what you enjoy. For me, I enjoy people coming together as a team to overcome big challenges and that lead to breakthroughs and results and new opportunities, all while people experience being free in the process. So have fun in your career. And the last thing I want to say is anything is possible. And get clear about that for yourself. Anything is possible. Keep that in mind, especially when things don't go your way for an extended period of time. Always know that anything is possible. And when I say that, I mean anything is possible for you in your career. Thank you for the opportunity.
We read dozens of news sources, so you only have to read one. John Lothian News.